What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Casper Chronicles. It's your boy Casper, and today we have that virtual world deck profile that I told you guys from the previous video that I was going to do. Again, I'm sorry, this is really late. Just family kind of took precedence over Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I haven't seen my other family for a very long time. So I definitely wanted to spend as much time as possible with them. But here we are back at the grind. And without further ado, let's get right into the profile here. So I'm not really going to go too into depth with any of the, most of the virtual world monsters. It's just because this is all standard. 3 Lulu, 3 Lala, 3 Lily, 3 Gigi. Right? Always standard. You always got to play you always got to maximize as many as possible. Just because you want to be able to do something, and to be able to do something, you need at least 2 names in your hand to do so. So maximizing on 3 of all of these, and then again, this is standard. 2 Nian and 1 Tutu or Tao Tao, or however you want to say her name. The one Tao Tao is a level 6. It can be normal summoned, especially even if you have a monster, if you have worm or psychic monsters on the field. So there's no synergy lost there. And it could potentially come up if you had to normal summon Tutu, bring out Lulu. By targeting Tutu, and then you can dump the trap and add a spell or something like that, and then you can manipulate that, and then you can go into your Zulkin plays, which is pretty cool. I did consider bumping this to 2 to play 2 and 2, but it was kind of... It was very lackluster, just because I would draw an extra one of these. I mean, yeah, it's any of these are technically good, like discard fodder, but these are the 3 that you really want to discard or get to the graveyard. But yeah, that's really it for the the virtual world monsters. There's really no substitute for it. I really hope they give us more virtual world names. Because this deck is terrible at bricking. So real quick here, just moving on to the hand traps. I only play 3 Ash. I just want to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, it kind of sucks if that I don't play a plethora of hand traps, but I feel like I can answer most of them, and majority of the time this deck is made to go first, and you will see why later in the profile. But Ash is the one that made the cut because it's the most versatile. I have considered playing other cards like Gamma. I have honestly considered playing Phantasme, but more or less Phantasme would be in the side over anything else. I've considered playing Nibiru, Skullmeister, which Skullmeister's not really that good right now, but there was a time where I considered playing Skullmeister. So, but yeah, Ash is the most versatile, so that's why I chose it. But moving on to the spells, of course, 3 Kwanloon, 3 Quinlong, standard. It's never gonna change. If it did, I would consider cutting this, maybe, but I don't really want to, because this is your main deck out to Winda, because Winda just shuts us down hard. So yeah, this will definitely stay at 3. Yeah, and you need the 3 city, and you want to see this so you can activate your Chuche to get your virtual world monsters effects off. You can search that out with Lulu. When you dump the trap, you can add that to your hand, and then you can activate that, or honestly set that if you're making Zulka, set that, and then flip it up and have Chuche, and then your cards are still alive. All right. So I decided to play 2 talents and 1 called by. So, well, the talents mainly for Dragoon, because Dragoon really, really hurts this deck a lot. Like, we cannot get over it. So I mean, it's more fun to steal it and blow up their board and try to kill them. And then of course 1 call by. I mean, you always have to play the 1 call by just for hand traps. I mean, Ash, it hurts. Gamma definitely hurts. I mean, Phantasma is not really a thing, but that wouldn't get hit by call by anyway. Or just honestly, if you're playing against it at all, I mean, Call by Trigger is pretty good to hit some of their monsters, so they can't get some of their effects. All right. Three Desires. So, again, I said this deck has an issue with bricking a lot. And Desires, as much as I don't like it, it's honestly, it's free in this deck with Nyan. You can Desires, draw your 2, and then if you have Nyan in your grave, or you somehow revive back Nyan from the grave, and then it gets banished. Whenever it gets banished, you can add a banished card back to your deck. Right? If it's face down, you do not have to show your opponent. Remember that. But yeah, Desires is pretty cool in this deck. I'm just not a fan of Desires into Desires. This is the only reason I do not like playing 3. Of course, the 1 E-Telly, just an extender. Bring out Nian or Lulu or whatever you need, honestly. All right, on to the traps. So, contrary to popular belief, okay, I do like the 3 Chuche to the 1 Zanwu. I do like the 3 Chuche because I want to have the ability to potentially draw multiple. Because, I mean, I could set one, and if they out the one that's face up on the field, look at that, I got another one. The Zanwu is pretty good. It's a in-archetype monster reborn, which is insane. But yeah, I do like the 3 Chuche. I mean, a lot of builds are playing it at 2, like 2 of these and 1 of these. But I want to have that versatility to potentially set one, have them face up. I mean, Chuche only gets 1 pop per turn, but well, I guess it really doesn't. Yeah, it does. So yeah. All right, moving on. Oops. I know what you're thinking. Why are these traps in here? So, like I said, this deck is going first. Honestly, your strongest board with your God hand is Shen, Dragoon, and Crystal Wing. That's it. It's kind of lackluster. Well, I mean, it's a pretty strong board if you have one of these to back it up. Well, with Chuche, right? But at the same time, if you don't have the God hand, your best board is Chuche, Crystal Wing with Dragoon. I mean, a lot of decks can. Some decks can play through that, for sure. So I do like this. The Judgment, just for any spell effect that I can't deal with otherwise. Strike, special summons of monsters and effects of said monsters. And then Prison. Prison is a god card. This card is insane. I do love reviving one of my opponent's cards back and then banishing the other monster. A lot of, like, there's sometimes where, you know, you do it at the right time in conjunction with your negates, it just ends their turn. Like there's no way for them to deal with it, honestly. And I mean, honestly, you can Ice Dragon's Prison, revive a Dark, and then banish their Dragoon. So the second part of the effect does not target, so you can definitely banish Dragoon, or any other problematic card that cannot be targeted, which Konami's been on a little binge of making cards untargetable. So yeah, yeah. So I mean that's really it for the main deck. It is 41. The only thing would be you can cut the one Chuche to make it 40. I just like the 41, and just because I didn't really know what I wanted to cut. Extra deck, right? It's pretty standard. So we got Shen, Dragon Mech, Croc for our level 9s, our level 9 synchros. There are some builds out there that don't play the Croc, just because like those builds are also playing Pot of Prosperity. That is not a good card. I'm not a fan of it because it requires you to banish some of your extra deck, and majority of your extra deck needs to you need to have versatility in this deck, and Prosperity takes that away from you, and Desires is much more, dare I say, desirable. And honestly, Prosperity makes you not be able to draw cards, so this card would be dead. Yeah, and I mean, I guess along with these cards would be dead as well if you Prosperity, because you can't draw with any of them either. So, but Coral Dragon just for spot removal, this to get the extra draw. And honestly, this with Utopia Beyond, you can make everything 0 and smack into everything. If they have 4 monsters, you win. If you bring out double and Charge Warrior, because all their attacks go to 0, and you can attack them for 8k, which is incredible. Eldritch is Kryptonite. You make this card against Eldritch, they cannot out it. It's very, very difficult. I mean, yeah, they can't even run it over with Golden Lore because it can be destroyed by battle or card effects, with 2 different names in the grave. So this is, you make this and you sit on this and make like Eldritch can deal with it, but it's really, really hard to do so. All right. Zolkin, Dragon, Crystal Wing, and Dragoon. This is the whole package. So you're gonna find a way to make Zolkin. You set one, Zolkin brings out Crystal Wing, and then you have 2 other names. Make Muddy Mud Dragon, and then you fuse away Mud Dragon and Zolkin into your Dragoon. I mean, yeah, Dragoon doesn't have the pops, but you still have the negate, and Dragoon is a really difficult thing to out. I still don't know why Konami even thought about making this card. This card is ridiculous. Yes, I 100% want the Ghost Crystal Ring, but we'll see how that goes here. Mud Dragon, honestly, you can also cut, what's it called? If you do want to play Prosperity, or you want to just cut like one of these all together, you can play Invoked Kaliga, right? And I mean, that's more of a lock as well. Because you can still do the whole Mud Dragon play. Instead, Mud Dragon would be Alistair plus a dark monster, which is Zolkin. And then you can make the Kaliga. So if you want to cut one of these to make room for a invoked Kaliga, I mean, hey, that's on you. That's awesome. But I mean, I just like this a little bit better. So the XYZs, right? So of course, one Bamboozling. This card's good against Nibiru. If you cannot make Crystal Wing, or you can't make Zolkin to bring out Crystal Wind because you don't have a card to set. You can also make this, all right, and that's Nibiru protection as well. Like I said, Utopia Beyond. You bring this out with Stardust Charge and smacking all of their monsters with Charge. It's really it's a really broken card. I really love it. So I guess you could consider this the Zeus package, I guess, if you will. The Pleiades, you can end on that, and you can add back Ash. You can add back Lulu if you already used a Lulu, or if you didn't use Gigi that turn, because if you did, then Lily, or you can pick a virtual world monster to come back to your hand in the end phase, right? And then you can just bounce back a hand trap, or you can honestly save it for your opponent's turn and bounce something of theirs back to their hand, right? And then Thunder Charger and Zeus, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Thunder Charger, it has not come up, but it does do piercing. And honestly, it's just an extra material for Zeus Daddy, to make where Zeus can have 2 sends, which is incredible. I understand that there's a possibility. You can also play, I think it's like Downed Magician or Downed Magician or something like that. I do not have that card, nor will I ever pay the outrageous price tag for said card. As well as people have also been playing, or some people have played, what's called For a Fortune Tune, I think it is. I mean, I don't think that's a good card. I like Bamboozling better, and I don't have any room for making room for other rank 3s. Honestly, if I were to do anything, I would find a way to put Kaliga in here, depending on the situation and my locals and all that. So, but yeah, guys, that is the deck profile. I really hope you have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please do consider liking the video and hitting that subscribe button. It would definitely help me out. Again, I'm sorry it took so long for these videos to come up. But we are back at the grind. Yeah, I think either Dragon Link or Salad Control is coming up next. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm not entirely sure which one. Who knows? There could be a pack opening or two in between. I'm not really sure. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. And also, if you subscribe, don't forget to turn that notification bell so that you're notified when said videos get uploaded, and you can enjoy the awesome deck profiles and pack openings that we do here on this channel. So, as always, guys, until next time, it's your move.